Good morning, my dear friends. Operator Starsky here. If you are as sleepy as me, you can, of course, use your coffee. You have right to be sleepy like me, but you don't have right to be sick like me. Because today I literally wanted to go to a different city to a meeting that takes place every Saturday, raising awareness about Ukraine and everything else, but I just can't. I'm sorry, but I will be better, I swear. Let's jump straight into the news, but before that, my dear friends, good morning. Silver Earth and Hunter, Feza and Ellie and Steve. Mops is gone, Christina, it's so good to see you, my friends. Katya, good morning. Michael and Mops is gone. Grant, Packers, Bridget, and it's not me, of course. Guten Morgen. Martin, good morning to the beautiful Norway. Melbourne, good morning, or good evening, whatever time there is. I always forget that Melbourne is in Australia, and it's the opposite side of the world, where people walk upside down. How crazy is that? Team and everyone else. All right. Let's just jump straight into the news, because today we will have traditionally some good updates. There are not some good news coming from Ukraine, but very good news coming from the terrorist federation. And we will also have a bunch of the Russian cringe that I will probably start with. You probably know that amazing Russian social network of ВКонтакте that was built by Pavel Durov. Pavel Durov is the same dude who designed Telegram messenger. And ВКонтакте was initially, how to call it, taken from him, not taken from him, but they say отжимать in the terrorist language. It means to take something forcefully. Sometimes they, of course, pay you something, but they kind of отжали that social network from Durov. They paid him whatever, but they took the social network from Durov because, of course, this network unites not only Russian users, but also different users from Belarus and other post-Soviet countries, of course, a lot of Ukrainian users as well. And they established widespread control over this network. Of course, all the information stored there is controlled by the Russian FSB, but at the same time, in Belarus, yesterday, all of a sudden, they blocked the access to this network because of inquiry coming from KGB. KGB is currently Belarusian copy-paste of the Russian FSB, is basically the same. Mercado, oh my god, hello my friends from Mercado channel, it's very good to see you here. I think that he's probably very sleepy already, and that is a reason he sent you here if you don't want to sleep, but I don't mind. Welcome my dear friends. Kudos to Mercado for mentioning our stream as well. ВКонтакте was blocked in Belarus. What the hell? Nobody can explain for sure. But we will talk about it, okay? Because I will just save just a bit of this cringe for you until the end of the show. All right. So just keep it in mind. Yeah, ВКонтакте was blocked in Belarus. So yesterday, Dmitriev came to the United States. He accused Ukraine, of course, that Ukraine doesn't want to negotiate. However, again, just to remind you, Ukraine already in March offered to Ozzy Welder, good morning, my friend. Ukraine in March offered the unconditional ceasefire that Terror Russia didn't accept, and that is why Dmitriev keeps saying that the country that was attacked, that was brutally bombed all this time, and that is basically defending itself. He came to the United States to say that this country doesn't want to give up. For some reason, like, we don't know. We have some absolutely amazing footage. The guys you can see on the screen, you can tell that they are Ukrainians because they're not driving golf carts, they're not driving donkeys, they are driving proper vehicles, all right. And you can see Russian drone literally flying into the back of a Ukrainian soldier and doesn't explode. How amazing is that, guys? So the guy is very lucky. I'm sure that he'll definitely have to take a vacation, at least a couple of days off after that. But kudos to Ukrainian defender. Again, the reason the drone didn't explode, I believe there are two reasons. First of all, of course, Ukrainians are protected by higher forces. I believe in this. I'm not the biggest believer, but I do believe that we have protection. And of course, the other reason is that the drone was designed by Russian terrorists from snatched parts, and most probably, I don't know, most probably we even have some amazing pro-Ukrainian person who actually designs those drones, and make sure that they don't explode. How cool is that? I'm very, very happy to see that this guy is fine, that he will return home and see his family. Bacardi, you probably know Bacardi. Bacardi is a manufacturer of different beverage. I'm sure that there are some fans of Bacardi in the chat as well. And Bacardi was frequently accused because it cooperates with Russians. It still has its production on the Russian territory. Sorry, I need coffee. Oh my God. And they were accused of that. They were basically blamed rightfully that they keep working on the Russian territory. Their taxes basically pay for Russian drones, Russian missiles, and everything else. Russians need a lot of money because they're producing tons of ballistic and cruise missiles. We talked yesterday about the price list, right? And this price list has a lot of digits in it. I think not just 8, something like 8, 9 digits, all right? So Bacardi basically can be blamed for a lot of Ukrainian deaths and Ukrainian suffering because Bacardi funds the Russian terrorism. If your company is there in the Russian Federation and they pay taxes to the Russian budget, then those taxes are eventually transformed into bullets and drones for Ukrainian defenders, against Ukrainian defenders, right? So those taxes actually take Ukrainian lives, and that's basically everyone should remember. When when CEO of Bacardi returns home, before hugging his wife and kissing his kids, he should probably wash his hands from the blood of Ukrainian people. That's just my opinion. So Bacardi, besides all the numerous statements they made that they will consider, all right, they will think about either continuing working in the terrorist federation or not. So they decided not just to continue their production in the terrorist federation, but also in spring 2026, Bacardi will start producing vermouths, martini vermouths in Dagestan, together with local member of the terror Russian parliament. of course, coming from Putin's party. That's just so you know, all right? So when you drink martini next time, just remember that it tastes just a bit like blood of Ukrainian people, okay? Keep that in mind. Denis Kazansky, legendary Denis Kazansky, keeps putting smile on my face every morning with those amazing reports coming from the Donetsk Oblast, Makiivka. This is the school number 72, all right? That's just so you could imagine the toilet in the school. So it's on the occupied territory of Ukraine, in Makiivka. And by the way, Rick the Ukrainian, if he wasn't sleeping, you'd probably see him confirming this fact that this is the case currently on the territories that are occupied by terror Russians. So terror Russian liberators came to Ukraine, they came to Donbass, and they effectively liberated this Ukrainian territory from things like government services, utilities, water, sewers, and common sense. All right, you can see the toilet in this amazing school, and basically the people in 2014 that expected Russia to come to this territory to liberate them from civilization, things like that, they also voted on that referendum. That was again, it was sham referendum with plenty of Russian nationals standing there with the firearms, but some of the people, they voted for real, right? And those people basically voted for Russia to come to Makiivka and liberate them from water and sewage. So their kids, instead of having proper toilet, would have to go and pee and poo in a bucket instead of the toilet. Because in Russia, nobody cares about Donbass. They don't want to bother, all right, helping them. The hell. Tilumbus, guten Morgen, guten Morgen. Oh my god, my German comrades don't sleep at all so early in the morning. But then you remind yourself that they're Germans. They don't sleep like 10 a.m. in the morning. Like it's a crime actually to sleep in Germany. I can confirm. Let's continue with this one. My god, like this is not funny, my friends. This is sad, unfortunately. That's like a bucket you can see over there on the picture. It's insane. But what is the sign about the toilet? It says doesn't work. And I think this sign dedicated not just to this toilet. I think this sign is dedicated to the Russian world itself. Like generally, when you talk about Russian world, I think like this photo is a good description, all right, a good symbol of the Russian world, Russian terrorism, Russian idea, a beautiful and deep Russian soul, Russian originality and things like that. It simply doesn't work because it's simply a toilet with a bucket instead of the bowl, right? And it doesn't work. So basically that's the thing that those degenerates with Zetkas on their sleeves are fighting for. Yuri Podolyaka, you probably know Yuri Podolyaka. That's a terror Russian propagandist who has his own channel, and a lot of terror Russians follow him. Russian government doesn't like him, all right? I don't like him either because he's a motherfucker and he deserves to go to jail for being a terrorist scum. But it's very, very cool to see how the terrorist scum that is involved, like literally involved, right, in crimes against Ukraine, how they drop, piles of shit on their opponents, sitting somewhere in the clean Moscow and having absolutely nothing to do with fighting in Ukraine, but generally orchestrating all this. So what he says in the top there, all right, you can see if you think that this is the latest Russian tank Armata, you're wrong, all right. Over here you can see the latest, the most advanced, the most modern, the most protected Russian tank T-62, designed before the T-64. This one doesn't have electronics because they are not orthodox enough. This one doesn't have dynamic protection, dynamic armor, again because it's a sin, all right? It's a sin in the terrorist federation. If you are alive, it's bad, right? In Russia, Podolyak is the friend of Western media, constantly making Russian talking points. Yeah, exactly. He's a terrorist scum. Yeah, and James, Russia values tank. Absolutely. So you can see like this most advanced Russian tank and some shit that sometimes they show in the exhibitions. The T-72 became the Y-72. This one is T-62, Bobsy's God. Y-62. Podolyak basically says in his publication that I'm looking at this picture and I am smiling because 4 years ago in terror Russia and in the whole world, everyone would speculate about the intellectual battles involving this tank, right? And different other modern vehicles. But the reality is absolutely different. He says currently the main things on the battlefield are millions of super disposable, super cheap drones that don't leave a single chance to the Armata tank to find its place. Also, he confirms that the combat capabilities of Armata are basically the same as in this tank, which is beautiful, I think. So the reason basically this whole publication was made, just so you understand, is because they need to explain their people why instead of like those super modern and widely advertised Russian tanks like Armata, they actually bring like those ancient tanks to the Russian battlefield. To the Ukrainian front, and basically they burn so fast, right? In those absolutely reckless and pointless Russian attacks. They need to explain why 2025 the Russian terrorists don't fight with Armata. Well, because, my dear comrades, we have a lot of disposable people that we can just burn in the attacks for mighty glory of the Russian Federation, for mighty Putin, for his ambitions, so he could go and put flowers on the graves of the Russian children. Something like that. So here I have a rather brutal video showing the Pokrovsk fields that are covered with the Russian bodies. I don't know which other word to use to describe this, but there's a lot of them, all right? So all those that are shown, like, let me pick at it just a bit. All of those are basically Russian meat assaults, Russian invaders, Russian millionaires, all right? People, sorry, not people, but Russians with millions of money in their pockets, all right? They're right there. So interesting. Oh my God. I never thought that Ukrainians will be fertilizing Ukrainian soil with so many Russian millionaires, so many rich people from Russia, all right? Millionaires, of course, we're not speaking dollars, we're speaking Russian rubles. The exchange course of the Russian ruble is $1 for 100 rubles, something like that. Just so you remember. They're napping, says Ali. They are actually tired. They were conquering Ukraine, and they decided to rest a bit before conquering Kyiv. So that is why we can see so many of them right there in the field. Okay. And speaking of them, all right, the next one is actually also Russian cringe. We will have a lot of Russian cringe, actually. The next one is that Itar-TASS, again, famous Russian propagandist resource. Itar-TASS is the Russian state propagandist media, all right? Sarah, good morning. I hope that you are well too. I am almost well. I will be better after removing all those germs and bacteria from my body eventually, because they make me suffer. But even more than them, this stuff makes me suffer because my stomach literally hurts so bad when I laugh at it. What you see on your screen, how to translate this for you, my friends? Canceling of the news or annulling of the news. Let's say it's, for example, when you post a publication, all right, in the news outlet or something like that. And then, for example, if this publication is not legit or not genuine or something like that, or contains different mistakes, you ask the newspaper to remove it. And that's exactly the case, because this stuff says canceling or annulling of the news, all right? And the editors of this Russian Itar-TASS media say that the news update with the title Russian armed forces successfully deployed at the quarantine island in Kherson, that was published on 22nd of October, is cancelled, is revoked, all right, due to the revocation coming from the Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation. The Itar-TASS is apologizing to its readers and yada yada. So the fact is, the terror Russian Ministry of Stolen Toilets decided to send this update to Itar-TASS, of course, because this is how it works, and they informed everyone that the Russian troops bravely deployed on the quarantine island in Kherson, and basically, like, the next step is literally outskirts of Washington, D.C., all right? After taking the quarantine island, their next goal is literally taking Capitolium, all right? And this news was revoked. This news update was revoked on request of the Ministry of Russian Stolen Toilets itself. Apparently because the dudes that got, oh my God, Minister for the Recovery of Stolen Toilets is right there in the chat. Oh my God, good morning, dear sir. So apparently this happened because they got tired, all right? I think that, for example, a picture like this we can also observe at the quarantine island where those brave terror Russian invaders landed, all right? That's kind of cringy. Okay, I admit that it's not very much cringy, not that much, but still is. And also we have Russian companies Rosneft and Lukoil, those that were sanctioned recently by the United States. Thank God, hallelujah. We were waiting for so long. But again, there's Dmitriev in the United States nowadays. Maybe Dmitriev will try to trade some, some peace deal with Donald Trump. We will see. James, I'm extremely sleepy. That's right. I hope that coffee will start me up just a bit. So the value of Rosneft and Lukoil on the international stock exchange has fallen down. The value of those companies, so basically the companies lost millions, billions of dollars. The second most richest person in the terrorist federation, Vagit Alikperov, the owner of this one, the owner of the control package, all right, of Lukoil, in just 2 days he lost more than $1 billion, according to the Moscow Times. Also, according to the Russian stock exchange, the Moscow stock exchange, Rosneft lost 3%, which equals approximately $1.56 billion. The Lukoil lost a bit more. They lost 7.2%. That brought them almost $4 billion lost in vain. And I have a question. We can see that these sanctions, first of all, they are effective. They make a lot of Russian oligarchs, a lot of rich Russian terrorists that, yes, Cranky, he better stay away from Windows, 100%. We can see that these sanctions actually work, that they are effective, that they make the Russian oligarchs and those terror Russian elites extremely happy. We can see that they basically, potentially, they increase the number of oligarchs that want to learn how to fly, and things like that, or drink some suspicious tea or other substances. We can see that it actually works. The question is, question number one, of course, Ukrainians are extremely happy. Question number one is, why couldn't we do that in January, February this year? Because we can see that it actually works. And question number two is basically why we couldn't do that 2022, 2023, before even Russia launched its Shadow Fleet and before we lost so many men due to the Russian drones and missiles and everything else that was produced using the Russian oil money. Why? What is the reason behind that? And question number three, of course, is how much longer will it last? Because again, we can see Kirill Dmitriev there. I think he's running around Washington, D.C. with a brown tongue. So, returning to the news updates and specifically the beautiful Russian cringe, right? Our favorite segment of today's show. This one is Azarenak. Azarenak is another Russian propagandist, and he decided to explain to this stupid Russian population why exactly the KGB decided to block the social media of Kontakte, all right? Because the job of propagandists like that is to explain to people, so people would not show their dissatisfaction with this, all right? Because in the terrorist countries like Belarus or Russia, for example, you should always be satisfied with everything. You should be this obedient, satisfied citizen. So this dude actually tried to explain why they blocked ВКонтакте. I will just translate this for you, just so you could understand what he says, all right?
ВК, это все знают, это буржуйская, частная организация. Да, она...
He says, VKontakte, everyone knows that this shitty network that, by the way, only like yesterday it was considered Russia's great answer to the evil Western Facebook and Western whatever WhatsApp and stuff like that. Like, fuck all that shit. Russians have a response. We have VKontakte. But now turns out that this stuff is like meh, guys. The social network of VKontakte, he says, everyone knows this like sketchy social network, alright?
Аффилировано там с государством и с разными органами, структурами и так далее.
And he says that, well, we all know that, of course, it's affiliated with Russian state and different Russian establishments, all right? But come on, guys, it's a social network. Fuck social network, right?
Это частная структурка. В Беларуси белорусские законы, белорусская власть, и вы все буржуи будете выполнять ее указания.
You may ask yourself, I'm sorry if it was too loud, but you may ask yourself, why the fuck is he screaming? That's something that I wanted to ask myself as well. Why the fuck is he screaming? What he says, and I don't know if he's on drugs or something like that, he was speaking perfectly normally, all right? Before he started like fucking shouting at people he's speaking to, which you don't do, right? It's disrespectful. So he is like, I will just try to reenact this, all right? He's like, well, you know that freaking, yes, there's like this Russian, like famous VKontakte social network. Yes, it's like affiliated with the Russian state and some of the Russian establishments. Yes, but generally it's a private structure. You motherfucker must remember that this is Belarusian power and you should obey. And if KGB tells you that we should shut it down, you must just obey like fucking dog and let them do their job. And you know, like the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Are you fucking drunk or something? Don't stream while drunk. Like, especially if you had like a whole bottle of window washing fluid or toilet cleaning stuff. Dude, that shit destroys your brain. Like, you're scaring the shit out of people. Come on.
Если требует что-то белорусский КГБ, на задних лапках побежали исполнять.
He's like, if the KGB demands from you, you should stand on your, you know, rear paws like a dog and you run and you obey. Like, literally, guys, this is a propagandist who literally tells his own people that you are fucking nothing. If the government tells you to do that, you just stand on your rear paws like dogs, all right? And you run and obey, because that's your job, all right? You're not the power here. So that is so good. Oh my God. Tucker Carlson would probably fucking pay his both kidneys, all right? Trade his both kidneys to be like that. Or Tim Pool. Tim Pool, now I understand who this fuck reminds me of. Holy shit. Remember this dumb fuck literally sitting there and is like, Ukraine is the biggest threat to the civilized world. We should apologize to... Like the same shit. Seriously. Oh my God. Now I understand where this shit is coming from. Or they're just given the same topics by the same structure, which basically is the case, all right? Oh my God. So let's continue, because this is absolutely amazing. But this is not the funniest part, all right? Just prepare some air in your lungs to hear what comes next.
А если нет, вопрос быстро решается. Вспомнить комсомолочку и мажеечку?
So he says, if you don't obey, then we can solve this different way, all right?
Вспомнить? Там тоже, знаете ли, понты, финты крутили. А ну-ка немедля отпустить. И чё?
Yeah, so he like recalls a different case and stuff like that, and he's like, who he apparently lost his breath because toilet cleaning fluid is very heavy, all right, on a human body. So the fact is they restored Vkontakte while he was speaking, all right, while he was screaming at his own viewers and reminding his own audience that is subscribed to him, that is following him, all right, voluntarily, while he was screaming at them and reminding them that they are nothing but a dirt on the boots of the KGB officers, all right, and they should stop using Vkontakte, they restored access to Vkontakte in Belarus, like right that moment. Just a second. Yeah. It's so good to watch Russian propaganda sometimes. Like, you start enjoying life. You start enjoying that you don't live in a country where you're not just forced to watch these motherfuckers because they don't have alternative points of view, but they literally tell you, obey, you are nothing, you're just citizens, all right? Obey. Okay, otherwise we will deal with you a different way. Motherfucker. And he has such huge ratings. I have no idea how he does that. Let's continue. This one was good. Like really good. This one is less good, my friends. This one is actually sad because in Kremlin they designed a handbook on how to deal with Ukrainian teenagers on the occupied territories who don't want to become Russians, all right? Because occupied territories of Ukraine are populated by Ukrainian people, and Russians designed a handbook that is actually called Methodical Recommendations regarding the prophylactics of spreading of the ideology of terrorism, extremism, and neo-Nazism. All right. And in this handbook, Russian occupiers, Russian fascists are explaining to different like Russian teachers and yada yada, they're explaining what to do with Ukrainian children that were, for example, found reading international internet resources that were found showing a lot of interest towards Ukraine generally, and God forbid, leaving anti-Putinist commentaries in the social media. And they actually say, you gotta, first of all, you gotta search for such children. You gotta find them. You gotta basically establish surveillance and find those children. For example, you have a class of informatics in a school with such toilet, all right? You gotta classes of informatics, and on those classes of informatics, of course, the kids are allowed to use, for example, computers and stuff. So you gotta check the logs, which sites they're visiting. If possible, you gotta find those kids and you have to talk to them, all right? Because unfortunately, there are cases when such kids were actually were sent to the Russian mental institutions. So this is year 2025, my friends, and we can see absolutely interesting amazing cases of imbeciles literally shouting at their audiences in the social media, calling them to obey. We can see the teachers that are told to change the firmware of kids in another country, all right, to basically indoctrinate them according to the current ruling terror Russian ideology. This is year 2025, and all that is a result of basically Kremlin's agenda, the idea of the Ruski Mir and all that shit. We would not have all those problems, guys. We would have such an amazing life nowadays if we didn't have a threat of the terrorist federation, a threat of Russian Mir. But unfortunately, we have to react to this threat somehow. So today, Steve Witkoff is meeting Kirill Dmitriev, this terror Russian representative. They will be talking about the mutual partnership between the United States and the terrorist federation. To me, it looks very, very suspicious that he came to the Washington, D.C. to meet his very, very good friend, Steve Witkoff, by the way, like they're buddies. Specifically 2 days after those sanctions were placed on the Russian oil companies. Why can't we see that happening today? What's your thoughts? Because I'm too sleepy to make logical conclusions, my friends. I need more coffee. I predict that we will see those sanctions removed. Because Trump is not working to punish Russia, all right? Trump is working to pressure Russia. Trump is working to find the best deal for the United States, which I completely understand, or maybe the best deal for Trump. But at the same time, I believe that the sanctions can't be removed as easy as they are placed, because we've seen that so many times already, right? We've seen like those crazy tariffs placed on Canada, then removed from Canada, then placed in Canada again and stuff. Everything can change. And his task is not to make Russia sink. His task is to basically save Putin, all right? Because that's exactly what he does all the time. So, Ellie, why are you crying? What happened? What happened? Let me know. I'm scrolling the commentaries, but I'm just too sleepy to understand what's going on. So what is happening in Pokrovsk? There are disturbing news, unfortunately. The biggest problem is that Russians concentrated a lot of their drones in the area. So it's very, very hard to, not just to deliver or evacuate personnel to or from Pokrovsk, but it's very, very difficult to actually operate there, because the Russian drones are hunting everyone, and Russians established several concentration points. Spider chat, oh my god. Spiders, I feel you, all right. So the Russians established several concentration points where they concentrate their groups of their personnel and then send them to the deployment points. And the situation, I would say, is pretty much threatening at this moment. So we will see the development. I am not really optimistic about this one. But again, this is something that was probably anticipated. On the other hand, of course, it cost Russia more and more Russian population. At this point, we cannot do more than that, all right? We should just continue. We should just increase our tempo of producing drones to make more and more Russian occupiers better on the Ukrainian soil, and that's basically it. That's what we do. Do you know why spiders have long hairy legs? It's so they can give fluffy hugs. I should try, because frankly speaking, I also have like long hairy legs. Like if you stroke it, it feels as if you're stroking a cat, all right, or a giant spider. Ellie's preparing her Glock, and she's like, I'll fucking kill you. Next time I see you, you will be sorry. Spider web is on my mind. The other spiders hard to find. Oh, okay. Guys, let's... Ellie's not even responding. She lost her ability to speak English. She's like, okay, I'm compiling the list of people. All right, I need to have my very personal list of names. Okay, Ellie, you know we love you. All right, that's the only reason. So, let me check. Oh, okay. I finally woke up. Great. That's the spirit. 11 a.m., my dear friends. 11 a.m. in Germany. I think something like 3 a.m. in the United States. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. The Native American Indian, the water spider, carries the frame for the world. That's exciting. Okay. Let me check what else do we have. We have some very, very good updates coming from the Terrorist Federation. According to the governor of the Russian terrorist region in Volgograd Oblast, there was a fire at the Russian substation in Novonikolaevsky Rayon. So it turns out that it's already the second strike in this, second strike this month on this specific Russian power substation. The scales were absolutely classified by the Russian terrorists, so they don't inform their people, but we will keep our eye on that. Also, we have some interesting news coming from the Belgorod Dam, all right? So they have a dam in Belgorod, in this location, in Ivanovka. And the dam was suddenly hit. And before the people who protect environment and things like that start criticizing this attack, let me remind you first of all, Kakhovka Dam, all right, that's basically is not even comparable because this dam survived. Only the electric generation, the power generation equipment was destroyed. Kakhovka Dam unfortunately destroyed a lot of lives, all right, because it was demolished by the Russian terrorists. So the Russians lost power generation at this dam due to a precise strike. The dam itself survived, so the danger to the civilian population doesn't exist, which is again Ukrainian style, all right. However, like, you can justify it, you can criticize it. I believe that whatever the Terrorist Federation is suffering at this point, whatever is happening to them, is completely deserved, all right? Like, whatever evil, whatever shit happens to their people, I am not supporter of that. I am not. I'm supporter of law and order, you know that. But whatever shit happens to them is actually justified. Hunter, this is terrorist Russian territory, all right? That's Russian Belgrade. That's formerly Ukrainian land, but it was taken from Ukraine like 100 years ago. So currently it's officially terror Russian territory. So whatever happens to them is their own responsibility. Putin is to blame because karma generally works. So we have another absolutely amazing update coming from Ryazan. And you know about the Ryazansky oil refinery that was hit fucking 10 times already. So Ryazansky oil refinery has stopped its production completely. Care value for them 0.00. Yeah, my friend. Ryazansky oil refinery, one of the biggest ones, and I think it's fourth biggest terror Russian oil refinery. The refining station CDU4 has been immediately stopped on Thursday, 2 days ago, after a fire accidentally emerged on it. All right, after this very station, after this very facility intercepted a Ukrainian drone with itself. All right, the Russian air defense is absolutely amazing. Fourth biggest Russian oil refinery, my friends. I'm loving it. General Secretary, how do you call it? Secretary General or General Secretary of NATO, Mr. Mark Rutte, because Ukrainian is General Secretary. Anyways, complication of translation. He says that Putin is losing money, ideas, and soldiers. According to Mark Rutte, Putin is losing all those. I agree that Putin is losing money big time. He only started losing those money. Putin is running out of ideas. He doesn't run out of soldiers much, okay? Running out of ideas, yeah, he is, but not to be underestimated, all right? Because it's very, very easy to say those fucks are absolutely stupid, which they are, all right? They're stupid, they're degenerates, but on the other hand, we are unfortunately fighting against them for the fourth year, and Europe only starts fighting against them because we can see increasing cases of Russian terrorism, Russian hybrid attacks, Russian drones flying here and there, and we will see this growing and escalating because Putin is generally very, very rich person, probably the richest person on the planet. Elon Musk, nothing compared to Putin. Trust me, Elon Musk doesn't have so many palaces as Putin. Elon Musk doesn't have so much oil as Putin does, all right? Ergo, he has not as much money as Putin, which is probably that is why he envies Putin so bad. But Putin is very rich, and Putin can buy a lot of citizens of Europe, by the way, that will be launching those drones for Russians and sending Russians different footage. And he can buy a lot of citizens of Europe, by the way, who will be conducting terrorist attacks against their very, very own country. That is something that Ukrainians saw happening in 2022, when Russians actually recruited a lot of Ukrainian citizens, like drug addicts, alcoholics, all sorts of pro-Russian degenerates and degenerates, and actually recruited them to conduct terrorist attacks and other nasty things. So Mark Rutte is known, first of all, for speaking louder than his actions, all right? I'm talking, for example, tomorrow we'll be shooting down all sorts of Russian aerial targets crossing our borders because, like, we got tired, all right? And next day he's like, well, we decided not to shoot down them all because, like, you know, it's not a proper thing. And the next day he's like, well, we decided if they don't pose threats, we won't shoot them down. Like, why? So that's basically a rhetorics of Mark Rutte. Again, if you want to stop saying ridiculous things, all right, and if you want to restore people's trust in NATO, you have to speak to Ukrainians more, all right? They will explain you how to run your communication campaign properly, all right? How to speak things that are reliable, how to fact check, and they will tell you just a bit about the real situation, all right? Who the Russians are, what they're capable of, all right? So you have a clear picture. Because unlike NATO, unfortunately, currently only Ukraine is the country that is defending Europe with its deeds, with its actions, all right, not with just words. Let's continue. Let's continue because we have a lot of actually encouraging news, all right, coming first of all from the United Kingdom. According to Prime Minister Starmer, the United Kingdom will deliver more than 5,000 different missiles to Ukraine, and they will be delivered to Ukraine very, very fast. Okay. I believe the reason we love United Kingdom so much is because they do absolutely heroic things. Like in the eyes of Ukrainians, those steps, those actions they take to help Ukraine are absolutely heroic, considering that United Kingdom has a lot of their very own problems, like in Cardiff, for example, because the people in Cardiff, you know, you are deep in my heart. I pray for you every single day. I hope that everything will be fine in Cardiff eventually. Just like keep in mind that you gotta watch the food that you put on the radiator to heat it up, because, for example, if it's a tin can, it may explode. Anyways, kudos to the beautiful people of the United Kingdom. Also, President Macron of France is reporting that very soon, Ukraine receives additional missiles Aster, new educational programs, and new, probably he's talking about the software, and new Mirage aircraft. Okay. Yes, I will just put all those beautiful commentaries on the screen for the people of Cardiff and people of the UK, just so you understand that we all stand for you, we all root for you, dear friends. Cardiff. I gotta go to Cardiff, seriously. Guys, I wanna go to Cardiff, and I will go to the city, I will bow down and kiss the ground. I have some urge, I feel an urge to do that, because like I already love this place. I've never been there myself, but my heart is with the people of Cardiff. I'm not even joking, like it's for real. All right. Let's check out some more updates. Let's return to our beautiful segment of the Russian cringe, all right? because here we have Solovyov. I'm sure you all missed Solovyov. Solovyov, Italian citizen, by the way. Again, I'm not joking, all right? If Cardiff deported its Russian sex workers, the problem would be solved. Jenny, I could not say this better, all right? Absolutely. So, you missed Italian citizen Solovyov, who now has no access to his Italian property, most probably, and Goldfingers, you must go to Cardiff, see the Welsh, and try Welsh cakes. I will, I swear. As soon as I have this opportunity, I definitely will. All right. Let's check what he says, okay? Let's check what he says, because you're gonna love
На
it.
войне побеждают не такие или не такие?
What?
Нет, побеждают не такие или не такие?
He said, my God. I overestimated myself, you know, I overestimated myself when I thought like, all right, let me just translate the shit that he says, you know, to my dear family and friends, and like we will have a laugh, but my God, why is he such a degenerate? It's so hard to even try to translate his stupid rectal language when he speaks, especially in the morning, 11:36. He says like, do you wanna know who wins in the war? All right, Solovyov. Okay, Solovyov wants to teach his viewers and his guests by explaining to them who wins in the war, as if Solovyov has at least some fucking knowledge about it. All right, anyways, let's hear him. Dracula on TV, absolutely. Yeah, by the way, Dracula, my Asula. Solovyov, my Asula.
Яростные. Яростные. Ломающие волю к сопротивлению.
I am not sure who he refers to, but again, he fucking starts screaming like mentally impaired or something. I don't know. So he basically tries to say that, do you know what wins in the war, or who wins in the war is something, like I missed the word because he cannot speak properly. He says, maybe he's talking about action, but he says, the things that are fierce and furious and destroying the will to resilience and resistance. That's what he says about Ukraine. Really? The fuck are your fucking soldiers doing in Ukraine for the past 4 years? All right, let's continue. Yes, Andrew Knight, unfortunately people watch this shit in the Terrorist Federation because they don't have alternative, all right? Jenny Bancroft, yes, he does sound drunk. He does, because apparently he is a big fan of some, I don't know, dishwashing liquids in the Terrorist Federation. Or Bacardi, probably Bacardi.
Поэтому еще раз повторю. Вот мы, наконец, стали выносить к чертям. Не будет жизни ни в Харькове.
He's like, I will say one more time. Finally, we started killing. We started killing. There will be no life. Not in Kyiv, not in Kharkiv.
Ни в Полтаве, ни в Николаеве, ни в Одессе.
Not in Poltava, not in Mykolaiv, not in Odessa. By the way, they always were saying that Odessa is the city of the Russian glory. For some reason, I don't know, like Russians who've never been to Odessa love Odessa so much and consider it a Russian city. Such arrogant fools. But why the hell is he shouting again? Like, he trying to like scare his viewers or something? I don't know. You know, I think the biggest reason why Russian viewers, like Russian TV consumers, right, why they're such degenerates, is because they're just being screamed at all the time. Like in the school, you know, when you scream at the kids, they grow up very inconfident or, you know, having a lot of complexes. I think that's the case. Like, why the hell are you screaming at your very own viewers, at people watching you? Is that like your way of talking to people who actually fucking feed you? I don't know. My God, it's so cringy to even watch them. It's not even translating or understanding what they're trying to say in that fucking mental institution called Russian television. Россия 1, my ass.
Не будет этих городов и не будет Киева.
He says there will be those cities will disappear and Kiev will disappear as well. Really? Oh my God. Just to remind you, товарищ Соловьев, just to remind you, Russia, in 4 years of its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, the biggest aggression since the times of the World War II, somehow, for the reasons I cannot quite explain, but your whole Russian army wasn't able to take even a single of those cities that you're talking about. Oops, how did it happen? I don't know. But apparently you are just a liar, dear товарищ Соловьев. But it's fun to listen to you.
Если мирные жители не осознают, что их избрали как расходный материал и не скинут свою нацистскую власть.
So he says, all this happens only if the citizens don't realize that their Nazi government ruled by the Jewish president, and by the way, Jewish president, Muslim minister of defense, such a Nazi government. But anyways, he says that the citizens of Ukraine, the democratic country that elected their president, all right, unlike Russia, by the way. So they should remove their very own government and generally comply. Like he doesn't say, okay, you should remove your government, all right, democratically elected, and become Russians. But you can read that between the lines, okay? Let's continue. This stuff is so beautiful.
А нет сил? Хотя бы уйдите из тех городов. Поймите, что вас используют как живой щит.
And he says, understand that Ukrainian, this Nazi Ukrainian regime of Jewish President Zelensky and Muslim Minister of Defense, they are using you like a live shield. Really? No way. No way. I've heard that somewhere. So he says, just go from those towns, don't die, because we will be killing you. That's basically what he says, openly, all right?
Нет сил уйти? Извините. Напомню вам судьбу Содома и Гоморры.
He says, if you don't leave those towns, let me remind you the fate of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Because the angels of death will be literally coming and eliminating you en masse. The fuck? Oh my God. I don't want to see Solovyov in The Hague. I want to see him in like Hlevacha. Hlevacha is a Ukrainian mental institution, not far from Kiev, yeah. It's literally a mental institution, a very, very good place for people like Solovyov, for people bullshitted by Solovyov. I think that after the war, Hlevacha will become a very, very much successful place. They will have a lot of clients coming from the terrorist federation, and they will have this amazing opportunity to make their tests and research on individuals like Solovyov. Solovyov, who thinks that, you know, in his imagination, the Russian army already eliminated all the cities, all the population, took Washington, D.C. 5 times, took Alaska 10 times, and Russian army that you know, bravely marches now towards Berlin. So he has a very good imagination, basically like all the Russians, like all those great victories of the Russian army that happening in the Russian imagination. They are, of course, absolutely terrifying, but the good news is that they only happen in the Russian imagination. It's very, very big, all right? Russian imagination is very big, very strong, very developed, all right? Only in the wrong way, though, but it's a fact, I admit. So basically, I don't know what else to comment here. You've seen all that stuff yourself. We will make sure there's no life in Kiev, in Kharkiv. Dudes, you failed to take Kiev in 2022. I've been there myself. So we have another, and this time it's a good update, all right? We have a good update from France that stated in 2026, in case of need, France may deploy its troops in Ukraine. The chief of the land troops or land army, land forces of France stated that French army is ready to react to 3 levels of threats, including the potential deployment in Ukraine. He said, in case Ukraine requires it, all right, we will be ready to deploy our forces in frames of the security guarantees. So, of course, what I understand is that France is ready to deploy the peacekeeping troops, okay, the peacekeepers first of all, and also the troops that will be present there to prevent any sort of Russian aggression. Kudos to France, kudos to beautiful French people, but also kudos to beautiful Italian people, because Italy is preparing the 12th package of defense aid to Ukraine, and besides ammunition, besides shells and missiles, they will also deliver missiles for the air defense systems SAMP-T. SAMP-T are good, all right, they are good. That's the closest thing, that's the thing that can be compared to Patriot, right? Like next closest thing to the Patriot systems. So kudos to the Italians. What the hell is this shit? Well, this beautiful firework on your screens, that's basically Russian UAV operators receiving their rays of karma. Let's check out what they're saying. I hope they won't be screaming this time. I'm so fucking tired of Russians literally screaming into the monitor like they're fucking I don't know, Adolf Hitlerovich or something. Like that looks so cringy and inappropriate. I don't know. Why do they even watch those Russian propagandists who literally shout like they're being cut to pieces or something? Yeah, so that's basically everything that's left from the Russian UAV. Oh my god, so much ashes. Russian UAV base. Why don't we have sound? I don't know. Maybe it's good that we don't have sound. So that is in Pokrovsk, actually. And it's very good because, again, in Pokrovsk we have this very... Did you hear the sound? Because I didn't. Maybe something wrong with like No, I think it's video. So in Pokrovsk again, the situation is very bad because there's plenty of Russian UAVs flying, and now we can see those Russian UAVs basically turning into beautiful fireworks. That's great. So the Russians are saying that, according to the Russian media, к сожалению, потеряли две позиции. Unfortunately, they say, unfortunately, we lost two positions. The temporary headquarters and the field warehouse, and we lost huge amount of property. Huge amount of property. So I believe we understand what kind of property they're talking about. Also yesterday, they were kind of anxious because several mass launches of drones around the Odessa area were recorded by the Russian monitoring channels, and the Russians were saying that we are watching their trajectory. Apparently, those Ukrainian drones will go around Crimea towards Krasnodarsk, Feodosia, and Crimean Bridge. So it was like, as of yesterday evening, I will keep my eye on the updates, because if there was like this big, massive launch, all right, then we will have some very, very good news later this evening. So that's good. The hell is that? That's a Russian who decided to go fishing. He decided to go fishing, and he basically turned into the fish. Let's watch it. He's like, let's catch some fish for my family. And he's like, and basically he turned into the fish himself. This what happens to drunk people, my friends. Okay. Here we have a Russian supporter of the Russian terrorism. I believe this is either in Poland or in Romania. I cannot tell because I cannot. So you can observe on your screens a typical supporter of the Russian terrorism with Zetka on her T-shirt, and you can hear this angry man recording her, all right? Recording her and basically telling everything that he thinks about this lady. He says, you are murderers of people in Ukraine, you are killers. Jason, she's not Karen. I think that she's just she had too much shampoo that morning, all right? Why is it important, all right, to see videos like that?
Убийцы, сука, убийцы!
He's
Вы
like,
убийцы людей,
murderers,
блядь!
murderers.
Вы убийцы! Вы убийцы!
And you see, he attracts attention to her. He says, you are murderers, murderers. And he attracts attention to this lady. One thing I can tell you straight away is that first of all, it's important to understand straight away what kind of person you see in front of yourself, because if this person is wearing like this Z, Russian swastik, on her shirt, it tells you immediately that you are dealing most probably with deeply brainwashed, degenerate with probably some problems with alcohols and stuff like that. And most probably also this is the person that will be setting your power facility in your European country on fire for money, all right, being hired by the FSB. It's very, very important to immediately identify such people. Luckily for this man recording her, she had the Russian swastika on her t-shirt straight away. Okay, so another thing is, of course, attracting attention of the people, because I don't know in which countries that symbol of the Russian terrorism is prosecuted. In some countries it is, actually. But if not, it's very important to attract attention of law enforcement and other citizens to this very person. And people must understand that she is dangerous. All right, she is wearing the t-shirt glorifying Russian war criminals, Russian rapists. That is very, very important to see straight away. So I would call all of my friends watching this video right now to do the same, all right? If you see a person wearing Zatkas, please attract attention to this person. Also, please make a video of that, because it's very important to notify citizens of civilized countries about dangerous people living in those countries, about people like that, all right? People that are supporting different dangerous ideas, terrorism, because again, if we're talking about Europe, for example, Russia was recognized as a terrorist regime in 2022 by the Parliamentary Assembly of Europe and also by the NATO Parliamentary Assembly that very year. So in NATO countries and in European countries, people like that, people wearing swastikas, Russian swastikas, and people supporting Russian terrorism, they are officially recognized as terrorists, officially recognized as supporters of the terrorist regime. So basically, that's absolutely legal, and it's very, very important to remember this. Very important to do like this brave man.
Убийцы людей и детей! Убийцы ебаные, блядь! Вы ебаные убийцы, нахуй!
Yeah, so basically she received a bunch of beautiful emotions. She decided to go shopping, apparently glorifying Russian terrorism, and she had a great morning. We definitely did, all right. Let's see what else do we have. Okay, I think we're approaching the end of my tiny news compilation, but there's something really, really cool to show, all right. So that's a Ukrainian dog. So a Ukrainian designer designed glowing wings for her tiny dog to show the path, all right, to illuminate the way during a blackout. Literally, this one looks very, very cute, and I think that if I saw that late at night and I was drunk, I would probably have to change my socks. But looking closer at this absolutely beautiful dog, I think it's just so cute, all right? It's just so beautiful and cool. Yeah. So even the harsh times such as war, blackout, and all the hardships that Ukrainian people are going through, they also bring something beautiful, because that's basically, Ukrainian people living, all right, and enjoying life despite all the hardships. That's so cool. Is that a Chihuahua, by the way? I think so. Looks a bit too fluffy to be Chihuahua. But let me know, all right? Okay, my dear friends, we have some more time to finish our coffee, my traditionally cold coffee, and have a tiny chat. That's Pomeranian. Wait a second. Wait a second. Ah, that's like a toy dog. Oh my god, I've seen them so many times. And I was like, oh my god, Chihuahua, you know. That's a Pomeranian. Like, you see that in the toy store. Oh, this dog is like... Oh my god. This dog is like, you should know one thing about me. My grandpa was a wolf. Alright. That's amazing. They're so cool, like literally like toy dog, cougar. Exactly. When you look at it, it looks like coming from a toy store. That's extremely cute. I think the cutometer in this chat is absolutely crazy right now. Bag dog. Yeah, it's just so nice. On the other hand, I think, you know, if something is threatening the owner of this dog, that tiny fluffy ball of cuteness can literally, I don't know, bite off legs and limbs and everything else. That's actually a very, very, very good dog to have, for example, if you're living in a smaller apartment. I think you can even teach them to like use the litter box. On the other hand, of course, you gotta walk with dogs all the time. You can make fun of them, but they're always so happy to... Absolutely, we're making fun of them lovingly because they're so cute and adorable. And generally, it doesn't matter which sort of dog you have, right? It doesn't matter what breed it is, because they all are beautiful. Chihuahuas are fearless, 100%. Absolutely. Chihuahuas are freaking insane. Chihuahuas chase like pit bulls and British dogs and stuff like that. They are insane. However, one time I've seen like calm Chihuahua myself. I was impressed, like a tiny calm Chihuahua, and she was like very happy, very friendly. Like Solovyov. Oh, Solovyov. Solovyov is a freaking hyena. It's, you know, it's even shameful to compare him to the animals, because I don't want to insult animals. How is Fuch, my friends? The Fuch is, he's safe. He's safe. I talked to the people that take care for him right now, and he's safe. That's the main thing. There was a RAF camp where their security chihuahuas were trained to go for the throat. Holy shit. Oh my god. Did you see the commander's new Malamute puppy? Really? I gotta check it out. Angel Doggy looks like the smaller cousin of the Nafo dogs. Maybe. Like, they're relatives for sure. Solovyov's son is living in England. I know that Solovyov himself lived in Italy, and I remember when he was sanctioned, actually he recorded this address to the Russian people, like sitting there, you know, like crying, almost crying, like, why me? I didn't do anything wrong. And now he's like there on the television calling to strike Brussels. Hyenas are incredibly intelligent. That's the thing. I just don't want to insult animals comparing Solovyov to any of them. That would be very, very unfair. And hyenas, by the way, are exciting animals. They are so much surprising. Seriously. Did you know that, for example, female hyenas have penises? And I shit you not. They are matriarchs, so in their society, matriarch decides. They have very, very harsh hierarchy, and also, like, their female hyenas have penises like males. That's crazy. They give birth through those too, yeah. That's absolutely insane. Any animal that screws with lions, not something you want to mess with, absolutely. What sort of movie? What sort of movie? I remember there was like this horror movie, or was it some kind of series? Like, in the back of my mind, I remember a scene when like a bunch of high school students were like werewolves, but they were turning not into wolves, but into hyenas. And I remember this crazy chase scene when them, like in their human shape, and they were like laughing like hyenas and chasing someone on the screen. Please remind me if you know what I'm talking about. I'm not hallucinating, I swear. I saw it many years ago when I was a kid, and that was menacing. I believe hyenas have a stronger bite force than lions. I think they have the strongest one. I think in the animal kingdom, among the land animals, at least. That's a larger clitoris. So they still have uterus. Yeah, so the fact is, what they have is not really a penis, like in male hyenas, but it just looks like it, all right? I wonder why. Because even considering the fact that so many of young hyenas die due to, first of all, due to the hierarchy in the tribe and everything else in the pack, but at the same time, it makes so much harder, for example, for male and female hyenas to mate, you know, because female hyenas look like that. Why did nature do that? I have no idea. But apparently nature had its own reasons to do that. Crocodile, probably yeah. Probably crocodile has the biggest biting power, because I remember crocodile, I've seen a video of crocodile being fed by people. They were throwing like legs of like pig legs or heads or something like that. The power of crocodile jaws is absolutely crushing. But the fun fact is, like, crocodiles have terrifying bite force, absolutely terrifying bite force, but it takes them so much more effort to actually open their mouths. So if you hold the crocodile mouth with your hands, you can effectively save yourself. Like, not that I'm calling you to literally jump into a lake straight away, and test this stuff, but that's just an interesting fact that the muscles that correspond for closing the crocodile mouth are much, much stronger, 1,000 times stronger than the muscles that correspond for opening their mouths. So it's like when you hold a crocodile, like, don't test this at home, all right, especially in your bathtub, but if you happen to find yourself somewhere around crocodiles and being attacked, or my God, I'm not giving advice, all right? I'm not giving advice. Just you remember that opening the muscles that open their mouths are much weaker than muscles that actually close them. Just so you know. Interesting fact. Don't test at home. Don't swim near crocodiles, all right? And of course, don't try it yourself. Duct tape is good for crocs. You mean like transporting? Just Google Steve Irving. Yeah, good old Steve Irving. I miss him so bad. Seriously. The animal with the strongest bite for its size is the black piranha, which can bite with a force nearly 30 times its body weight. That sounds menacing. On the other hand, you don't meet a lot of piranhas on the land, all right? On the land, there's other species that can effectively chew a human being, like Komodo dragons, crocodiles, of course, because they can also hunt on the land. Who's gonna put that tape? Yes, a very good question. I think the answer is a very, very brave and a bit crazy person, all right? Or trained professional. That would be the answer, all right? I hope none of us. What about ants' bite strength? Because comparing piranha to ants can drag like 50 times their weight or something, even more, I think. The Tasmanian devil was a close second. T-Rex land goat, absolutely. So an Australian, yeah. Trained professional or an insanely brave person. I miss Steve Irving so much, my friends. I really do. Like, what happened to him is not just tragedy, it's just devastating. Because I remember I enjoyed it so much. I was a tiny kid and I watched his show, and he's like casually walking next to a lake, and he's like, "Oh mates, I'm gonna show you a real crocodile." He fucking jumps into the lake straight, like with everything, his phone, his glasses, like everything. He just jumps straight into the lake, and you can see like those crazy fucking splashes. And then he's like drags, drags that fucking reptile the size of a school bus. He drags it onto the land, and he's like, "Well, this is the crocodile," and he explains stuff like, you see, like, I can tell, and like lifts his tail, like, I can tell that it's a male, no, probably a female, No, I guess a male. I can feel it's a male. And yeah, please don't do what I just did, all right? Because it's dangerous, generally speaking. Don't do this at home, okay? And the crocodile is like, fuck, not you again, you know? Please let me go, I beg you. That one just so inspiring. And I miss him so much. Steve was on another level, 100%. Today we were called here because there was a flood and the crocodiles are like walking down the street, so we will just remove them, you know. Just, hey, hello, crocodile. Crocodile, I know that, man, you know, guys. Let's just get the fuck out of here. I know that man. I know what he does. He was legendary. Absolutely legendary. Like, oh my god, look at that. That's the deadliest snake in Australia. And he takes a snake, you know, like, this one is the deadliest snake in Australia. Please don't take it with your bare hands. The snake is like, fuck my life. The morning just started. It was supposed to be a good day, you know. He was so good. He still is. He changed people's view on reptiles profoundly. You know, Jenny, he changed my views on life, actually. I tell you what, for example, when I was a press officer, all right, press officer, like way before the full-scale invasion started. For example, a typical press officer is called to a shooting range to shoot the soldiers shooting, right? To record their exercises and to make a movie about it, or a video for a YouTube. What an ordinary press officer does. Ordinary press officer just goes like, oh, well, you know, like, these soldiers, this is how they shoot. If he's a bit more professional, of course, he adds some heroic music to that, all right? And basically, yeah, he puts it on the YouTube. He receives 5 likes from his mother and his father and the dude he was recording himself. Basically, that's it. When I was a press officer and I saw, for example, our guys like, you know, starting this range, so they gotta like fall down, lower their profile, you know, crawl to the limit range, whatever, crawl to this line and start shooting at the targets and then change position and run to other position and shoot from there. And of course I could just stand there like this, you know, smoking and recording them. But I'm like, what would Steve Irwin do? I literally take my camera, I jump and I crawl next to the guy and I'm like recording him. The dude is like, you know, crawling with his AK and like looking at me like, the fuck are you doing? And I'm like crawling next to him and like recording him on camera at the same time. And that is the reason why, for example, in my brigade, we had the most kick-ass videos. All right, in my brigade, let me see if I still have some of those, because YouTube, I'm sure that there's a lot of copyrighted music, all right. But I will show it for you regardless. Бригада швидкого реагування. I will show it to you because we still have a lot of very, very good footage. Brigada Rubíž now it's called. Now it's called Brigada Rubíž, my friends. Let me see some of the... some of the older videos that we did. All right, it has so much copyrighted music. All right, all right, like this one, for example. Like all that stuff I recorded myself, and the guys training and everything else. This one is kind of boring, I admit, because generally they were not doing anything spectacular. But for example, like which one was my favorite one? Let me see. Artillery. I wanted to show you that shooting. What was this one? God, I don't remember. Oh my God, that's my former sergeant there. Let me fix the screen for you guys, all right? That's my former sergeant. He was my sergeant in my platoon. And he continued his sergeant path. I became an officer later. Where is the window? Like there it is. Yeah, this one is our fighting instructor, and he's like very, very good. He's professional. He's champion, actually. And you can see our guys like. Oh my God, I miss those times. That sport ground still exists. It was renovated. The guys are good. Actually, the guys were preparing for championship, and they were training. Yeah, that was my gym. I would train there together with Max all the time. All right. What else do we have? Well, some, like it was just a relaxing training, like nothing more. Check out what I did. These are the guys from the bioradiologic hazard company. All right, check out this shit. I'm like, I gotta make a video about Stalker in real life. That's what I did. Oh my God. Good old times. Good old times. Yeah, hazmat suit. I want to find that. I want to find that, like... Oh, this one is good. By the way, remember my bro Bogdan, all right? You want to see young Bogdan. Check it out.
Daddy got a shotgun looking for a stork.
You recognize him, right? So it was a competition. It was a competition of the special force companies in the National Guard of Ukraine. Yeah. They were among the best. I think they took like second place or something. Yeah, they were just so good. So if you want to see like older videos, just check out the page of my brigades. Check out like the oldest, all right? The oldest. You can see all the content there. I'm dropping that in the chat. It was something to remember, right? What else? What else? I wanted to show you something really cool. So this one, I think, no. God, I made so many videos. Jesus Christ. I had a lot of time. I had a lot of free time. Okay. Let me find. That one. That one in the Chernobyl area, by the way. That one. Again, there's a lot of copyrighted music, but this one is actually our training in Chernobyl area. This one is in Poliske. Poliske is a city that was included in the incursion zone, in the exclusion zone, included only in 1996, so almost 10 years after the catastrophe at the Chernobyl power plant. But still, it was included later, people moved out, and now this place is used for training. So you can see some of our footage from there. And yeah, that's Taras Shevchenko. Fight and you will win. The God helps you. That was made at the anniversary at Taras Shevchenko's birthday. What else do we have? What else? That's birthday of the brigade. That's our war. That's заняття з підготовки і тактики. Let me see maybe this one. Maybe this one. Actually. Kyiv, HOSTOMEL. Yeah, that's our brigade. That's basically I made like advertisement about brigade to show literally what we have. Of course, everything was shat on and destroyed by the Russian orcs who occupied that place for a while. But later we have restored everything. All right. So I'm saying that first of all, you can train because in our brigade, we have gym, we have all sorts of competitions taking place there. You can also train yourself. We will teach you how to shoot, how to operate your weapons, all sorts of tactics and everything else, and blah, blah, blah. So besides all that, our instructors will explain you how not to be a cannon fodder, right? How to survive. We have a very, very modern place for maintaining our cars, all sorts of repairs, maintenance, and stuff like that. We have all the workshops over there, so you can do like all sorts of repairs, and also the refueling station. So all that's me, by the way, in the mirror. You can take a shower. If you're a driver, you just arrived, you can literally wash yourself right there. And of course, you can go to war and basically prove that, yes, you are a warrior. And by the way, majority of that is my footage, all right? You've seen that one from Zaitseva. So that one is also one of my videos. That was like social advertisement for people who want to become recruits, all right, in the National Guard of Ukraine, and especially in my brigade. God, we made so many cool footage, so many cool videos, and I wanted to show you the one like from the winter, you know, when I was crawling in the snow together with my friends. I think it's like later here maybe, but it's very, very hard to find. I have to like literally scroll through all this, right? Yeah, we had, for example, the CrossFit competition. So those guys were this guy. He's my good friend. He is currently in the reconnaissance company, but this guy is also a wounded soldier. So he was wounded in his stomach. He lost half of his organs. He's 22 or 21 on this footage, and this dude recovered and took part in the in the CrossFit competition. How fucked up is that, my friends? Like positively fucked up. Yeah, so we have our guys showing some results, sweating big time there. And by the way, this gym is that very place where I had a sparring with the master, my God, master of boxing. How do we call it? Like the boxing champ. So, like in the post-Soviet space, when you want to become, when you want to receive a grade in boxing, you first become like a candidate for masters of sport, and then you become a master of sport yourself. So I had a boxing sparring with a master of sport in super heavyweights, and like, you know, I'm a tiny guy, all right? I'm not brilliant in boxing. I just attended the training, all right, time to time. And we decided to check out how much can I last against him. So I lasted 1 minute and 30 seconds before he said, like, bro, just let's just stop. I want you to survive this, all right? So it was almost a suicide. However, at the same time, when my commander learned about this, like, did you have a sparring with that colonel? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you are fucked up. I gotta find a different press officer. So that was really, really cool. So please check out those videos, guys. I dropped that link in the chat. I will drop it one more time. Also, please subscribe, because Max, with our former press service, is working very, very hard to bring you information, footage from the front lines. Unfortunately, we will not see many cases of footage from peaceful times, well, peaceful 2020, 2018. Cannot call them peaceful times. They were peaceful compared to what we have now, but unfortunately we were losing comrades back then as well. You ran away for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Simi, you see, the masters of boxing, they run faster, all right? They will always outrun you. So doesn't matter how fast you can run, they're still better. So it's there's no point in running away from them. It's just impossible. Immediately after that sparring, I made a photo and I published that photo. I think I will not find it because it was on a different phone that died after HOSTOMEL battle, but I made a photo and I published it in my Facebook, and I had like my face was literally like this color, all right, like this color, like blue color. It was so good. I had such a beautiful knockdown. It was the coolest case in my life. So basically, yeah, Paul, I can say that Steve Irwin had influence on me, because when you want to make good footage, for example, again, as a press officer, you don't just stay away, like drinking coffee and recording everything conveniently. You fucking jump after those guys. You go inside of that action and you just bring the best footage you can immediately from there. All right. I sparred with my cousin at boxing practice. He knocked me out twice, so coach stopped the fight. I will show you something different then, all right? I will show you something from the times when I was just learning how to box, and I need some time to find this video, guys. Just give me 1 second, please. Let me see. Okay, maybe it was like this account. I literally have 15 different accounts. Maybe it was this account. Let's see. Let's see my videos. Anti-terrorist operation and everything else and blah 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 and yada yada. But where is my sparring? Where is that ugly fight? Oh, here it is. Okay, so the story. My good friend was like 120 kilos. I was like 65. My friend had much larger experience than me in boxing, okay? And I was just like practicing time to time. So the music is copyrighted, but you can see young me. This is literally 2011, all right? And you can see my friend on the left over there. So we started literally like playing around. And that place, by the way, that's an open air gym in the Hydro Park in Kyiv, all right? In the middle of Kyiv, there's like this island on the river. And you can see that my technique sucks big time. Like, I lost this one because the fucker was big. He's 122 kilo, I'm 65. He has much more experience, and his boxing gloves are actually MMA gloves. They're not boxing gloves. They're lighter, all right? And they had holes in them. And I'm so bad in this video, actually. And also, I'm scared. I'm literally, he's terrifying, all right? And he didn't even try to, fight much. So here he just places his enormous, opulent stomach on top of me, all right? And basically, this is how he fights. I cannot do pretty much anything. Red Rooster, I'm putting money on the big guy. Yeah, so like I'm just closing myself. I'm so terrifying because of that. That just looks very much scary. So it's even hard to like approach him. Here, for some reason, all right, I'm like, Mama, shit, save me. Yeah, so I learned a bit how he fights. I learned that, yes, it's painful, but shit, I still gotta do something, all right? I gotta react. I think I only got him once, all right, properly. And yeah, it's wrong, actually. Like, literally, when you bend like that and literally stare into the ground and stuff, like, no, it's wrong. And he literally he was having fun, and it was fun for him, of course. I bet he couldn't catch you, Starsky. Hoops, he actually could, because, oh yeah, really, yeah. Oh my god, that's my only punch that I actually landed accidentally. Like, look at that. Look at that. He was like, haha. I'm like, boom. And, you know, that one looks so funny. Like, I'm literally like, oh my god, you know, like this. Because it was fucking scary, seriously. So yeah, and then like, look what he does. I'm like, la 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 la. He fucking caught me and fucking started punishing me like that. Oh shit. And the dude who's recording that very moment, he's like, oh fuck, man. Yeah, so basically it continued like that for like, I don't know, 20 minutes or something. In the end, I go home, all right, after that sparring, and I go home, and I'm wearing like this white t-shirt, not t-shirt, tank top, not tank top, like the shirt, all right, for training, which is covered in my blood, and not my blood, it's covered in the blood. And I meet my friends in the street, and they're like, the fuck happened? Because my whole face is like dark blue and violet, and I have like those big horns growing out of my head because I was covering my face like this, and the dude was literally punching my head easily. And they're like, oh my god, you're bleeding. Did you injure like Buzz? You know, that good dude? I'm like, no, actually, he was punching me with his MMA gloves, all right? And those MMA gloves, besides the fact that they were like very light, of course, but they also had holes in them. So he was punching me with like literally knuckles through the holes in his MMA gloves. And because of that, he destroyed his knuckles against my head. So his knuckles were bleeding, and that was actually his blood from his knuckles that he like scratched over my head. That was so good, my friends. That was just incredibly good. And basically, when you look at this place, that's like a hydro park open air gym, free for everyone. You can just go there and pick your whatever you want to I don't know, whatever workout you want, you can do it there. Okay, so there is this area for fighters, boxing, and everything else. There is area for bodybuilders. There's area for literally everyone. And I would go there and I would work out with my friends. Let me see if I have some more footage. Do I have some more footage? Can I share this? Oh my god. Like... Oh, I will show it to you, my friends. That is that very friend of mine, all right? A friend of mine, he was challenged. He was challenged by a different dude because generally that friend of mine, he is a big fan of like, not like boxing. Boxing, he considers boxing boring. He's a big fan of like kung fu. He's a big fan of like Wing Chun and stuff like that. So a short story, all right? How all this started, okay? He actually challenged my friend on the forum because there was this forum for fighters coming to Hydro Park and literally speaking about martial arts, and they were discussing different things related to the martial arts. So one of the dudes came to this forum and he said, like, your kung fu sucks, my kung fu is supreme. Guys, the discussion on this forum stretched to like 70 plus pages, all right? 70 plus pages of fucking discussion, flame, subtle insults, all right, towards each other. So eventually that dude challenged my friend Buzz. He challenged him for a fight. Buzz lost some of the weight, all right, because as you can see, for example, on the video, you can see that he's big, he has a belly, all right. So it was already years after that, I believe. And oh my god, please don't do this to me. And it was already years after that. And he improved his shape a bit. Sign in to confirm your age. God. Everything was perfectly fine. Anyways, I will explain how it looked like. All right. So Buzz got challenged, and I recorded the video because a lot of people arrived to see this amazing sparring. Buzz, his real name is Vasya. Actually, Buzz was like his nickname in the forum. So Buzz and this guy arrived. Of course, Buzz, besides the fact that he improved his shape, he trained, he lost his belly, he became like lean, ripped motherfucker, like tall, big, you know. He started running again like crazy every single morning, 10, 20 kilometers. He didn't give a fuck. So he arrived to this sparring. Then I see the other guy. The guy looks, of course, your body shape doesn't mean a lot, all right? If you're a professional fighter, if you're a good fighter, doesn't mean anything. If you're big, small, ripped, no, like fighting is not about muscles. However, it also matters, all right? It also matters, like the weight matters, the mass matters. And there were approximately 20 other people literally gathering to see the fights, all right? The dude who challenged Buzz actually brought his lawyer. I haven't seen anything like that in my life, but he brought a lawyer, actually. So, anyways, this video lasts for approximately 1 minute 20 seconds, all right? They bow to each other and they start literally walking around like this, you know, with all those kung fu moves. I'm not a kung fu fighter. With all those kung fu moves, you know, trying to understand each other's level, trying to understand the tactics and things like that, and you know, like making those scary poses. Buzz is like, not Buzz, his opponent is like, you know, walks around and he's like, does like this with his leg. Buzz is like, oh yeah, you know, like everything looks so threatening, so dramatic at that. Like I'm recording all that shit and my heart goes boom like crazy, and they walk around like this, you know, like aiming, like observing, you know, studying. Then eventually Buzz apparently forgot that he's a kung fu master, all right? Buzz is like jab, all right. He checked the distance and he's like, come here, motherfucker. And he starts like throwing haymakers. Fuck, I'm falling down on the ground. I don't know how I recorded that shit because I was literally crying on the ground because Buzz is like, you know, it's 1 minute of gently walking around strategically, you know, like making all those scary moves. And then Buzz fucking throws a haymaker and breaks his fucking nose. the dude is like, he's like this, all right? Blood and shit like that, and Vasa is like, huh, and starts fucking throwing haymakers, there wasn't nothing about technique, skill, no, it was literally like a drunk brawl at a pub in Cardiff somewhere, you know. Fucking starts throwing haymakers, the dude is knocked out technically, all right, because his nose is fucked up. So several days after that, and the dude is like, oh shit, what's with my nose? I'm like showing him the picture. He's like, oh fuck. And he's like, guys, do you have money for the cab? They're like, of course. So we had to gather him the money so he could get a cab and go to the clinic. Like nothing serious, literally just his nose was sideways, that's all. I have my nose sideways myself. If you look at it, it looks that way just a bit. So like nothing special. So he goes to the clinic. After a couple of days after that, he's like, thank you very much for this practice. It was good. I spent several days with those fucking cotton sticks in my nose, but everything's fine. And basically after that, he started attending our fight club and learning with everyone else, learning other styles, and it was interesting because generally, like the dude himself was tall, even though he was kind of skinny, but he was tall. It was seen that, obviously seen that he was trained, and yeah, he was good. So another interesting encounter there were a lot of interesting encounters. First of all, there's a lot of guys training next to you, so basically you're training there with the guys, and you're listening to all those guys like lifting weights like 50 meters away from you. And of course the guys can see you, they see that you're training together. And me, for example, I enjoyed both. I enjoyed going to this area for fighters, training with my friends, and before that, or sometimes after that, I would go and push barbells or lift stuff, things like that. So I enjoyed both, like the bodybuilding parts, the weightlifting parts, and the fighting part. Fighters usually don't give a shit about gym, like they train to punch, they don't give a shit about lifting stuff, all right? I enjoy both. So sometimes you're training with the guys, all of a sudden some of the bodybuilders looking at you and you don't look menacing much, all right? So this big bodybuilder comes to you and goes like, guys, you wanna have a sparring? I just wanna try. You're like, yeah, sure. 30 fucking seconds, the dude is out because he's not trained. His stamina is like the level of a 3-year-old in a kindergarten. He's not trained to fight. So like 30 seconds, he's out. Okay. Sometimes there are other cases when I'm training with my other friend, and my other friend currently he's like very, very good at jiu-jitsu. He's in Ukraine, and why he became famous in Ukraine is because he participated in all the underground competitions between the football ultras, and he won a lot of them. So he participated in competitions between ultras on the far right spectrum, and then in the same competitions on the far left spectrum. So he took part in all of them, all right? And then he decided to start learning jiu-jitsu because he basically was good at boxing, kickboxing. Of course, he had a very good shape. But then he started learning like jiu-jitsu, and he stopped going to those competitions. So one time we decided to meet in that very place and have a training, and like we're training with him. we're training without gloves. We're training without gloves, but not because we want to kill each other, all right? We're like very, very gentle. We don't fucking punch each other. We're like just, trying to touch ourselves. And then there's like a guy who's like, guys, can I have a training with you? We're like, yeah, sure, bro. And the dude, again, my friend is a fucking pro. I would never risk literally fighting with him seriously, because the dude knocked out so many people in his life on the streets, because he attempted all sorts of like boxing, kickboxing. He knows all sorts of fighters that were his teachers, and he was a teacher for so many fighters, especially among the football hooligans. So the dude is like, he's very experienced, all right? He's very experienced, not only on the ring, but on the street as well. So my friend, of course, goes like, yeah, sure, let's train. No fear, no anxiety, like nothing like that. He's literally, yeah, sure, let's train, because you will be 5,059th person I have, beat up in my life, because, And they start training, and I watch his opponent, and he's like jumping around him like monkey, like this, holding his hands literally like this. And I noticed that my friend cannot even reach him much. Yeah, and all of a sudden, and he does like those crazy moves, like, like this, all of a sudden. I see that my friend is getting fucking knocked out, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So, turns out that the guy was a professional boxer, which of course he informed us about after the fights. Thank you very much. So he was a professional boxer, and again, it wasn't even like full contact, they just played. And my friend, he stands up, he's like, thank you for the fights, of course, it was good. And he goes, bro, I gotta go and find like a contact lens, because my contact lens flew away, escaped, all right? That shit was cool. So sometimes you can see, like in that place, you can see different people. I remember I see a lady working out topless, okay? And she looks strange, actually, because here she works out like on the gym equipment, lifting weights and stuff. Then she runs to this fighters area. She works on the punching bag. And then I realized that it's not a topless lady, it's a guy. And the problem is, when when you want to grow muscles and you start injecting different sorts of substances, trying to increase your level of testosterone, sometimes you have this side effect, because the level of your testosterone grows, and your body, to balance it, starts producing estrogen like crazy. And then the level of testosterone, because it was raised artificially, it falls down. But the level of estrogen remains, and that's the reason why sometimes you grow boobs. And I realized that that's actually the case, because in fact I saw them so many times in that place. Fuck, they don't want to spend money on the gym, because it's a free place, it's a free gym for everyone. But they spend money on fucking shit to build muscles, like steroids or whatever. That's crazy. Sometimes, there was this very famous like local crazy man, all right, like local legendary crazy dude. He was very big, all right. He was like this, like his neck didn't exist at all. His head literally transformed into his shoulders, all right, immediately. So he was like this, and he had like this posture, He walked like this. Like, did you see the Bigfoot that very first legendary footage of a Bigfoot, that was literally him. He walked like this, you know. I don't remember his name. Grisha, I think. I forgot, but he walked like this. So he's like walking around this place, and he takes like this barbell. He lifts the barbell. Then he takes like this dumbbell. He lifts the dumbbell. Then he goes to the place where the fighters work out, and like he kicks each punching bag like once, you know. He goes there. It's like, I don't know, like a dude somewhere at a manufacturer, you know, like, or a pilot, like, I switched this, I pressed it up. The dude did the same, only in the open air gym. Like, you know, he just walks like, okay, like lifting barbell, like taking this stuff, you know, doing exercises. Then he walks, goes, you know, passes by the punch bag, goes like bam, goes against the guy standing there with Makivara, goes like bam, Makivara, you know. Fuck, he was so legendary. Like, everyone enjoyed, you know, having him around so much, because first of all, you don't really know if he's if he's crazy, if he's dangerous, because like, who the fuck knows, you know. Sometimes he would just walk to you and like, do you want sparring? Like, yeah. It's like, all right, we'll meet you here in 15 minutes. And he just disappears, all right? And he never returns. Maybe he returns like 15 days after that. But shit, it was so interesting. So many cool people there. One time we went there with my friend. I'm not sure if you're watching this, my dear friend, but if you do, I really hope that you're with us. We went there with my friend, who also brought his boxing gloves, but you know, like those vintage ones, like those round ones, like very, very old ones. And it was interesting to study, you know, the story of boxing of 18th century. So it was cool. And he went to this open air gym with us many times, and we were training. And then eventually he said, "Oh, by the way, I can like in the open air gym, all right, in the area for fighters." He goes, "By the way, I can bring chess." We're like, the idea is, of course, very, very good. All right. But no. Please no. Please don't. And then we decided that, you know, to ramp up the level of craziness, one time we should try something absolutely dumb. For example, like making a fight with baseball bats and makivaras used as a shield, you know, using rules of MMA and historical sword fighting and stuff like that. That would be really, really cool. But unfortunately, we failed. And then I went into the army. But it was nice. And one thing I remember about this place is that, so you have this island, all right? After the only baseball bats instead of swords. That would be cool. So after the workout, you go past the bridge, all right? You cross the bridge over Dnipro, a tiny bridge, pedestrian bridge, and then you go to the subway station. And before you reach subway station, there's a lot of kiosks, and there's also a church. And in front of the church, there is like a stream, a source, a water source, right? Coming deep from under the ground, so you can enjoy like fresh, cold water straight out of the earth, all right? And there's a lot of kiosks, so like you're sweaty, you're tired and stuff, and you're going to this amazing place. You can buy milkshake with strawberry topping, and you could just go and sit in front of that church, in front of that stream, all right, with buddies, have milkshake, rest after the training, smell the fresh air. If you wanted, you could drink some water, and that was just so good. And I think that that place is still open for everyone. So if you're in Kyiv, you gotta check it out. There is armored MMA in European Union, armored knights in armor. We have that in Ukraine as well. We have fights of the knights, all right? We have different competitions in Ukraine. Let me see if I can find that. Kyiv Лицар Kizma. Fuck. Where's the So sometimes we have such competitions. Sometimes, so this one is taking place in Kyiv Rus. That's a huge complex, as far as I remember. That's a huge historical complex not far from Kyiv, actually. You can drive 15 minutes from Kyiv, reach this place. There's like old fortifications, and they have competitions between the knights in that area. So here, for example, you can see on the photo, those are not rare, all right, and they also involve like horses and stuff. They are not rare in Kyiv. They are actually very, very frequent, all right, and that takes place in Kyiv Rus. There's also a bunch of those guys meeting in the area of the Bald Mountain. I don't know how to translate it. Bald Mountain, all right. Bald Hill in Kyiv, and also Andriivsky Uzviz, the Andriiv descent. I don't know why I cannot see photos from there specifically, but there, for example, you can see the HEMA guys training. So I remember when I was a kid, before all this stuff moved to Kyiv Rus area, I remember that we had the same competition taking place in the Kyiv downtown, actually. And it was extremely cool. Like you can see knights literally fighting each other in the Kyiv downtown, all right? It was so cool. I remember several of those. I was like 11 years old. So that was really nice. Unfortunately, I don't think that they have those competitions in the downtown anymore, but they have specific place where they can do that, not far from Kyiv. They are impressive. I've been there like 1 or 2 times. You can shoot a bow or a long bow, and you can also watch those competitions, and also you can just take a walk around that like place. You can see the old buildings, wooden houses that originated in Ukraine like 1,500 years ago, and see different crafts, all right, so blacksmiths and stuff like that. So it's a very, very interesting place. You can see this in UK as well. Yeah, absolutely. I would really like, for example, Lindy Page to visit that place, because Lindy Page would be impressed to go there. Not very much historically correct, all right, because there's a lot of things like images, I don't know. Some things are historically correct, some are like made for show. Let's let's put it this way. But like competitions between the knights, the people who do that professionally, who actually study what they do, study history, make their own armor, and then test their strength in the fights, yeah, that would be extremely cool. I think I saw it on Schola Gladiatoria YouTube channel a few times. He gets his armor made by Ukrainian armor. We have a lot of armors actually in Ukraine. Like in Ukraine, this historically accurate martial arts and things like that, they are extremely developed. We have so many clubs of people practicing and studying actually, and of course a lot of those people are actually archaeologists who go to different archaeological sites and excavations. And oh my god, if Lindy Page could travel to Kiev and go to Kiev Rus, for example, to that area, that would be so cool. Oh my god. I would show him around. A group of some craziest medieval fighters here in Sweden was going to come to our wedding and perform, but they couldn't that particular day. That would be fantastic. Absolutely. And if you had, for example, like a wedding somewhere in a castle, or, you know, in some medieval hall with like old tables, like, you know, and historically accurate food, because I'm subscribed to the channel called, please remind me, my friends, there's a British gentleman, long hair. He always goes to different places and, for example, checks the historically accurate food. What was the noble food? What was the peasant food? Guys, please remind me, I'm subscribed to his channel and he's subscribed to my channel, but I completely forgot the name. I remember that he made several videos with literally experts that know a thing or two about real food that was cooked back in those centuries, and that was actually very interesting to see. Like, guys, the difference between today and 12th century, all right? Today, if you want meat, you just go to a grocery store and buy mabahandula, all right, the real one, and cook him, all right? You can go and get yourself 10 kilogram of meat, different type, prepare it, and be happy. 12th century, you had to grow a chicken, all right? And if you're a peasant and you're not very wealthy, actually, the only reason for you to kill that chicken and feed your guests would be, I don't know, wedding, for example, or a kid got born or something like that. So that's crazy. So much food that is available to us today was rather scarce back in those days, and people could not afford it. All right, here you can eat food every single day. You don't give a shit. Back then, it's like once in a lifetime opportunity. And that's the reason why, for example, modern people are taller than people back in those days. Back in those days, you're 30, you are a grandpa already. I'm 40 years old. I would be considered like, you know, ancient man, all right, ancient wise man, or probably like just ancient crazy man, all right. Old local dude from a village, all right, like, look at yourself, you have gray hair, all right, like you're 40 years old, you gotta get accustomed to the soil, my friend. You're ancient. Nowadays, you only start living when you're 40, all right? You only start enjoying the life. I was getting worried, a Starsky stream without a food chat. Yeah, so we're talking about food as well. So now you're 40. Oh my God, you're a young person. So times change and food changes as well. It becomes much more accessible. It becomes much more tastier. All right. The village elder NPC character. Absolutely. Oh, Mops is gone. I'm hungry now as well, by the way. It's 1 p.m. In the 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Do something to me, please, my friends. Send me to the kitchen, please, because I need to eat properly. And then I will start combining words into sentences properly as well. Just wait until you're in your 50s, still will hurt, but now it's just random and you don't know why. I tell you this, like, when I was 20, I thought my life is fucking finished. I'm 20 years old, all right? Then 21. Holy shit. 40 years old, I still feel like I'm 16. Nothing changed much. Of course, I cannot drink and smoke as much as I did back when I was like 16, or right, or 18. But I still feel the same pretty much. All right, in terms of like mental development and stuff like that, nothing changed much. So let me check out some of the updates. All right, my dear friends, just a second before we go. I gotta check this one out. So we have information from the monitoring channels that within 48 hours we're expecting a massive combined drone and missile strike involving Russian strategic aviation. I don't know, but nothing new basically. Since the beginning of 2025 and as of now, Russia launched 770 ballistic missiles and almost 50 and more than 50 Kinzhals targeting Ukraine. That's a lot. How much of those missiles were I will rephrase. How many Russian hospitals, schools, sewers, kindergartens, houses could be built if they spent those money on proper things, all right, on necessary things, on internet, on movies, on music, you name it. But instead, of course, they decided to keep killing Ukrainians because there is nothing more important for Russian degenerates than fighting against Ukraine at this moment. And not only against Ukraine, but generally against the whole world. I really hope that this stuff gets deconstructed. I really hope that we will see this happening. And frankly speaking, you know, I'm optimistic about this one. Because many evil empires tried to disassemble Ukraine, all right? But they are all gone. We're talking Third Reich, we're talking Russian Empire, we're talking USSR. they don't exist anymore. But Ukraine still does. And so will we. My dear friends, I will be shutting this one down. Thank you so much for staying with me, and thank you so much for staying with Ukraine. We all deserve to have something tasty, all right? We all deserve that. This stream lasts for almost 3 hours. I am not accustomed to talk that much, especially when I'm kind of sick, but at the same time, I have enormous pleasure talking to you. Memorizing heroic and legendary Steve Irwin, and talking about the things that unite us all, like food, for example. So please go and treat yourself with something good. I will definitely do that. And we'll see you later, hopefully this evening. Maybe not. Maybe I will keep resting and recovering. Who knows? We will see. I will let you know. All right. Thank you so much. And we'll see you later. And bye-bye. Be safe.